What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the SB Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm RD, flying solo on this Thursday night. Monday night. Monday. It's Monday, people. Week 17 is almost over. You got one last chance, hopefully, to win your league. If you've already won it, congratulations. I mean, it's been a long, hard-fought season. If you've already got that dub all sewn up, you've got that trophy, the money, the prize, everything, congratulations, because that's what you're here for. But if you're a couple points shy and you've got some guys going tonight, I'm here for it, right? You got the Lions and the 49ers going down in about an hour, about 55 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. We'll look at some odds on that as well. We're actually going to look at the teams, see what their predictions are. We're definitely going to talk about the studs of the previous week. I call them Sunday studs, but, obviously football's been on since last Tuesday or whatever. You know what? That might be the only day there was not a game. So I had Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You had Saturday for sure. I don't know. I can't keep up. It's too much football. But we're at the end of it. Hope everybody got the dubs. Hope you all are champions. But yeah, if you're not, I've seen some crazy punishments. I like the punishments that you can wiggle out of. And when I say wiggle, you pay, right? You're at a Waffle House for 24 hours or an IHOP, you have to eat your way out of there. You also have, there was a guy that was at a bar. He was already paying off he already know he's going to finish last. And he was at a bar. Every drink and shot, beer and shot, was an hour off his time. He had to get there when it opened. He was going to leave when it closed. But, who hasn't really done that? just on a random Tuesday. But, some of those punishments are crazy. I'd love to hear what yours are. Put them in the comments, message the page, because I'd love to talk about them, because I do plan on bringing things up at the end of this season when we do our next show. But ours is pretty much, we try to work in some. It started off as our league was we're softball players, right? So our league pretty much, we're all softball players. So every week, like, hey, you know what? You got to wear a pink tutu and do this, and you got to wear like I suck at fantasy shirt, something like that. We had some macho fellas that just didn't. They were like, I can't do it. But we have a toilet bowl, trophy. So and the first person to want it, that's what the trophy's named after, the carne asada. It's not as bad, right? To get it, you just don't want it, but if you get it, you just got to have the trophy up like in your office or on the mantle or something like that. You have to display it proudly. But nothing crazy. But I do like the punishments. The guys on the side of the road holding the sign up saying, I suck at fantasy football, honk, or whatever. And yeah, I'm big on, I like that because it's fun. It does keep it fun, even though you hate to lose. The money's nice. Let's be honest. This actually could be the first year I do not finish first in a single league. And I usually finish first, and I usually win 2 to 3 leagues a year. And I'm like looking, I'm like, maybe we'll see. Jared Goff gives me a little action. Maybe we'll see. But yeah, I finished. This will be if I don't win that a second, I finished third in 2 or 3 leagues this year. I think that's. I mean, it just wasn't in the cards, man. You ran into. There were some tough matchups. Let's just say that there were some tough matchups this last week, and there was tough matchups this week. So, but all right, let's go ahead and look at the top dogs and QB. No question. Let's be honest with ourselves. It's Baker Mayfield, dude. I mean, how is he not being talked about for MVP is beyond me. And in our Gangsta League, that's our softball team name or whatever. But yeah, Allen actually has him. Baker Mayfield put up 50 points, 50.15. Threw 359 yards, 5 touchdowns, didn't have a pick. I mean, come on. This guy, I don't understand how he's not even in the conversation, to be honest. And then you have Drew Lock, who's on waivers, who's out there on the waiver wire, going up against Indianapolis. You're like, you know what? No, I'm not gonna play him. Not gonna do it. He drops 47.45 points. He's owned in 3% of leagues. He's your number 2 quarterback for week 17 at the moment. 309 yards, 4 tutties. Just dropped them all over him, right? I mean, he even had a rushing touchdown. It was crazy. And then, of course, Joe Burrow, number 3, 47.10, 3 touchdowns. He threw for 412 yards. And again, I'm going to say it. How is he not even being talked about? Even when I put it out there on X, all they're doing is comparing Lamar and Josh Allen. Oh, who's going to win? Like, why are we not talking about Joe Burrow? They make the playoffs, bro. It's all on him. The defense hasn't done anything. You know what I'm saying? It's like he's scored you 30 freaking points every single week for like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? This is absurd not to have him in the conversation. I need to move this over just so I can see something. There we go. So then you got Jaden Daniels, 40.05. You had 4 players above 40 points this week. He threw for 3 touchdowns, did have a pick, 227 yards in the air, 127 yards on the ground. Liz's in the house. What up? I don't know why that doesn't show up on my thing there, but yeah, she's over there on YouTube. We have X and YouTube going. I was going to do Instagram. I was going to try Facebook. I'm not going to do it. That's next season. That's something we'll work on, and we'll get our handle on it. But let's go ahead and talk about your MVP runners here. Let's say this. Mahomes scored 37 points this week, right? First time in forever. Congratulations. They beat the brakes right off the Pittsburgh Steelers. But anyways, Lamar Jackson, 2 touchdowns in the air, one on the ground if I'm not mistaken. They beat the crap out of Houston. They didn't need much more from him, but he looked amazing. He really did. 168 yards in the air, 87 on the ground. And then your MVP candidate, Josh Allen, I had to scroll down to see him because I understand fantasy and real life. There's a difference, but fantasy is a direct correlation of how many points you score in real life, right? If I said that right. 2 touchdowns, 182 yards, another rushing touchdown. It was nice that he handed the ball off to James Cook once for a nice little touchdown. But yeah, I mean, I don't understand how Baker and Joe are just not even in the conversation. Joe Burrow, I'm pretty sure, is your number 1 fantasy quarterback this year so far. And I think he has more air yards and touchdowns. Like, they don't talk about, like, they got those stats for Lamar and Josh Allen, but neither one of them are number 1 in either of those categories. And then they have, like, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Maybe because the team just kind of sucks this year. Maybe that's what it is. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, whatever. Anyways, so there's the QBs, the studs of the week. Moving on to wide receivers. Hey, T. Higgins again. 40 burger, 40.10 points, 11 receptions on 131 yards and 3 touchdowns. The OT, the winner. He got the winner too. He had 12 targets. He did lose a fumble, which cost him 2 points, but either way, he was still by far the number 1 receiver in fantasy this year. Malik Neighbors finally getting involved. Obviously, Drew Lock had to spread the ball around, and he got it to his playmaker. 7 receptions, 171 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's on 8 targets, so he's definitely reeling them in. Drew Lock had it dialed in, looking good. What we got over here? Edits. Hey, how we doing? We're just talking about the big players of the week, and then we're going to talk about the game tonight. Marvin Mims, rostered in 3% of leagues, 8 receptions, 103 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he caught the tying that pushed the game to overtime with the Broncos and the Bengals. It was crazy. He had a hell of a game. So did Bo Nix. Anyways, Devonta Smith, 32 points, 6 for 120 and 2 tutties. I mean, and you only had a couple more players, and we will talk about it. Ladd McConkey, 31.40, 8 for 94 and 2 touchdowns, and then Adam Thielen. Adam frickin' Thielen, baby. 5 receptions, 110 yards, 2 touchdowns as well. So there was, I'll tell you this. I loved all the scoring on an early Sunday game. The afternoon game sucked. It was terrible. And then obviously, like, the Christmas Day games weren't that great and whatever. T. Higgins, Eagles defense. And then you got, you knew they were going to kind of blow up the Cowboys, right? I mean, the Cowboys just are not they're not even close to what they think they are. T. Higgins, man, wide receiver 1, and he's done it multiple times. So, they have to pay him. You have to pay T. Higgins. If you're the Bengals, you can't let him walk out of your life. Should go back to back. Let's go. Oh, nice. Cheers, bud. Cheers. Congratulations. Yeah, we were talking about league winners and champions. I hope everybody's got them sewed up, but if you're like me, waiting for tonight, got to have a big game out of Goff. Already talked about the receivers. Mike Evans, obviously, it's every single week with that guy. He didn't get to 30, 29.70, 97 yards, 2 tutties. Baker Mayfield just was slinging it. And then looky what we have here. Jonathan Taylor at the top again, 27.60 points, 32 attempts, 125 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also added 2 receptions for 11 yards. I mean, they lost, obviously, the Giants, so they were full go. It's like best case scenario. If you somehow made it to the finals and you had Jonathan Taylor, he gave you back. He won your league for you. And we mentioned him in our rankings. We talked about him. And, yeah, he just didn't perform all throughout the year. But, boy, if you somehow got in and had him in your starting lineup, it helped. Jerome Ford and Benton Strange sold me with Abdullah on my bench. Oh, boy. Yeah. Abdullah had a good week, didn't he? Let's see. I'm actually about to get. I'm on running backs now. Yeah, Abdullah. Only had 17.7. But anyways, we'll talk. I'll include him. He's not in the top 5, but I'll include him. Bucky Irving, number 2, 25 points, 20 attempts, 113 yards. He was running wild all over Carroll. Also added 4 receptions for 77 yards. Bonkers. Now he didn't get a touchdown. That's just pure yardage and PPR points. I mean, it was insane. Bijan, though, number 3, 24.80 points. 90 yards on 17 attempts. He had 2 touchdowns. I just wish Bucky fell in the end zone a couple times. That would have actually helped him out quite a bit. Derrick Henry, he's back at it. I noticed he was running the ball quite a bit. 27 attempts, 147 yards. Ran all over Houston. Had 1 rushing touchdown. Did he get a receiving? No, just 2 receptions for 18 yards. And then Saquon, he's one of the guys that is in the top 5, but didn't quite hit the 20 point mark. And then obviously Amir Abdullah, we talked about. 20 carries, 115 yards, 3 receptions for another 13. Absolute. Why y'all on a YouTube short? I don't know. Why we don't? Or why haven't? I haven't done shorts in a while. If you ever see a short and it doesn't include Allen's face, actually, I'll take that back. If I do 90%, 99% of the shorts. So that's, and I just been slacking the last couple weeks just with life. Yeah. I mean, you'll see a short from Allen and it's him like, hey, what'd you think about this? That's how you know it's Allen. If it's anything else, you're streaming on short format. Oh, no. I went and I just did, I do portrait mode. And I do this with Strikeout Beer as well. For some reason, it just, I don't know. I like it instead of landscape. Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, I'm in portrait mode. Yeah. I don't know if I can change it on the fly, but I like it. I like it. It suits me. Jacob, how you doing? But yeah, I just couldn't believe it from Jonathan Taylor again, back-to-back weeks. I can't believe they lost to the Giants. That was the main thing. Flipping over to tight ends, had some big performances here. Trey McBride, 30.30 points, 12 receptions, 123 yards, a touchdown. And that was on 16 targets. He could have done a lot more damage. Some good defense, some errant throws and whatnot, but he could have really blown this thing wide open. Zach Ertz, I had him on my bench. I don't know why he was there. I'm pretty sure he was on my bench. 6 receptions, 72 yards, 2 touchdowns. I believe the second one was in overtime to beat Atlanta. I picked him up. He's been a good play all year. He's got good chemistry with Jaden. So with Jaden Daniels. Let me check what we got here. I'm just a kid, man, not sub to that. I got you. Let's say I'm to win. I need Gibbs less than 14.48 PPR points. That's going to be kind of tough, bud. That's kind of tough. We're going to talk about predictions here in a little bit, and obviously they have them predicted at 21.39. I'm not saying that you need him to get injured. I'm just saying there's no Montgomery, right? So I feel your pain. I'm pulling for you. I'd rather see Jared Goff just throw dimes to everyone. And if it means Gibbs not getting the end zone and not getting that action, I'm here for you. Travis Kelce, number 3, 22.40 points, 8 receptions on 84 yards and a touchdown. It's vintage Kelce. He was getting the ball. Couldn't believe it. Finally he's kind of coming around. Good. I mean, he's rostered 99% of leagues, right? And he should be producing. He's just not what he was, 4 years ago. That's fine. I mean, you got to eventually fall off. Everybody gets caught with age, right? And then Conklin, 8 for 57, had a touchdown, 21.70 points. Obviously, one of his touchdowns came in just absolute garbage time when it was completely over. But, hey, it counts, right? And then Kaseki, 18.60 points. He's the only one out of the top 5 that did not break the 20-point mark. 10 receptions, 86 yards. No tutty, though. He usually gets you in the end zone. It's when T. Higgins plays, that's when he doesn't get the end zone. That's when he doesn't get his touchdown bump. So, yeah. Hopefully not. Yeah, I feel you. He will be higher. Oh, boy. Yeah, Duncan, I feel you. I would obviously lean on it. Noah Amon-Ra, him and that D. Bloth 43, 49ers. Oh, boy. Amon-Ra's out. They benched him. Is he still hurt? I don't know. We'll get to it, obviously. You know what? I'm sitting right here. Let me look. He's there. Yeah, he's active. Maybe I didn't see. Maybe I didn't read that correctly. But yeah, hopefully Amon-Ra. I'm telling you right now, I want Amon-Ra, Williams, Laporta, Patrick. I want them all to get touched. I want them to catch so many damn touchdowns. I wish they were playing a better team that could put up more points. They will look a little crisp tonight just because the Detroit's defense is horrendous. So I'm hoping. Kickers, really, he just had 2 good ones. Cameron Dicker, 20 points. And then Carlson had 17. Everybody else was like below 15. McLaughlin generally is a little bit higher. He had 13. But and then even Sanders generally go out there and kick you a ton of field goals, but nothing to really write home about. But yeah, Dicker and Carlson. Defense, you had 2 above 20. Baltimore, 21 points. Miami, I put in. I was like, let me put them in over Seattle. Luckily, it came in because Seattle scored 18 points. They finished 5th over the week. And then L.A., the Rams, 19. Philly at 3 at 19. And then Miami at 20. Baltimore 21. So that's really it. And like I said, the matchup tonight, I have the stats right here, the projections and things like that for the Detroit Lions and the San Francisco 49ers. But, yeah, who's winning the Super Bowl this year, in your opinion? I've been saying Buffalo for the longest time. For the last 3 or 4 years, it's been Buffalo. I don't know if I changed my mind this year. I think I complained about it on one of our earlier shows. But why not? I mean, let me say you this. Obviously, Allen could win MVP. They could go to the Super Bowl. They could win the Super Bowl, and he would be MVP. I don't see – the Chiefs, man, it just seems like everything's written for the Chiefs, right? Everything, all the calls fall the Chiefs' way. The Chiefs are just unstoppable. They don't even score a ton of points either. Defense is middle of the road, kind of. I don't get it. But they know how to win. And I'm not betting against Mahomes anymore if he's in the Super Bowl. I'd like to see – obviously we talked about it, and it was the Lions and the Chiefs. And that's kind of what that's what everybody's been saying. That was the 2 favorite teams to get there. And then obviously I think the Chiefs would win. They would just be outclassed coaching wise. And, that's what I think. I'd like to see Buffalo there. You can substitute the Lions with Philly. I think, to be honest with you, I think those are the only 2 NFC teams that could do anything. NFC is just not that great. It's not. It's been on a decline here recently. AFC has been so dominant. But I will say this, I'd like to see Baker get in the playoffs and just start wrecking. I really would. I talked about the standings and the rankings and everything like that, the playoffs last night on Strikeout Beer. But yeah, I wish I was pulling for the Packers, Duncan. I'll be honest with you. I was pulling for the Packers. I was like, let's get them in the playoffs. Jordan Love will shine. And now I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. I really don't know. And I'm not buying the Minnesota Vikings. I know they've won some games. We looked at their schedule. It was an incredibly soft schedule. Everybody from the NFC North had an incredibly soft schedule this year. The only really tough teams they played were themselves. And then everybody got the win on the Chicago Bears, or 2 wins off the Chicago Bears. But yeah, I don't know. I remember at the beginning of the season edits, we were talking the Saints. We were like, oh man, the Saints were on fire. They were rolling. They just beat the crap out of the Cowboys, and then come to find out Cowboys suck. Let's see, is there a chance? But anyways, so who's winning the Super Bowl? I'm saying if the Chiefs make it, the Chiefs. If the Buffalo Bills make it, the Buffalo Bills. I think it'd be a good close game if Jalen Hurts is good. If you get a Buffalo and Philly game, yeah. But I think it's the Chiefs. I can't go against the Chiefs anymore. I really can't. Is there a chance that the Lions players get benched at half since it's a meaningless game? I'll tell you this. How many times have they ran it up on a team that was injured, poor, or not poor, but poorly performing, things like that? Who was it? Jacksonville. They put up 50 on Jacksonville. They put up 50 on some other sorry team. I don't think they bench players. Now, logically, yes, you would, but they do. They're not managed properly. I don't think. Right? So you got a hype man as the head coach, and so yeah, I don't think they bench anybody. I would be shocked to see it, to be honest. And I know that you're hoping. I know you're hopeful that Gibbs gives you less than 14.48 fantasy points. Well, your opponent. Hope your opponent and Gibbs gets them less than 14.48. But yeah, this is a game they could go up early and be done by halftime. There is nothing else. And I think the Lions and Minnesota play next week anyway. So, yeah, I'm with you. I don't see them because there's no indication there's nothing showing me that they would ever do that. Like, I don't know, man. I feel for you, and I hope so, but I really hope they don't. I need Jared Goff to drop like 100 points, and that's because we're in a super flex league with like crazy scoring and stuff. Like 2 weeks ago, he scored 150 points for me. I need like 100. Okay, so I need him. I need that guy to go full just moron mode and keep him out there and let Jared Goff just throw. But you never know. You don't know what San Francisco is going to do. As far as their offense. Let's be honest, the Detroit Lions defense is terrible. They're riddled with injuries. They got guys that were like that. You know what I mean? They're finding guys to plug in at the moment. So Purdy might come out and look okay. I don't know. Pull for you though, bud. Pulling for you there. Saints. Let's clear these out real quick. Last year I played CD in the championship when he had like 13 catches, 227 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Yeah, that's pain. Yeah, I feel you. I held on to the championship last year. It was New Year's Eve, and my opponent had Jordan Love. And that guy wouldn't stop throwing touchdowns, right? You get past halftime, and he comes out they're blowing this team. There's no reason for him to be on the game. There is no freaking reason. They put him back out there. He scores another, and I go, oh my God, I'm going to lose this game. I was up by like 60 freaking points, man. And finally, like, you know what? That's enough. They benched him. Thank God. I was like, I couldn't believe it. Like, the only reason I won was because finally they said that's enough. But I don't know if the Lions have that same kind of break. I don't know, man. I don't know if it's a game over. I'm feeling you. Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and take a peek real quick at the projections for tonight. Jared Goff, 23.23 points. Jahmyr Gibbs, 21.39. Amon Ross, 16.74. Jameson Williams, 12.39. Sam Laporta, 10.09. Tim Patrick, you always got to mention him. I've been mentioning him as well because some nights he gets you 20 points. Some nights he doesn't. Against Chicago, he had 1 target, no receptions. You know what I mean? After back-to-back weeks of double digits. But, you never know what's going to happen, right? You got Craig Reynolds still on here, but that's as far as you probably go down. I expect Jared Goff. I expect him to ball out. It's San Francisco does have a tough defense. They are in Santa Clara, but there's nothing really provoking me or making me think that he's not going to perform, right? Like the last 3 weeks have been phenomenal. Last week in Chicago, 36.70 points. Buffalo, 58. Green Bay, 30. Against Jacksonville, like we were talking earlier, 52-6. They run it up on teams, and we'll see. We'll see how it goes, how long they leave them in, and how high they want the score to go. And I want it to be extremely high. I want it to just go astronomical, bonkers, balls to the wall. I want it to go crazy. I think my internet just dropped. Hold on. I'm trying to get Gibbs. Gibbs against Chicago, 25.4, 28.4 against Buffalo. Obviously, those numbers have kind of gone up a little bit since Montgomery's been out. Against Buffalo, he had 8 carries. last week against Chicago, he had 23 attempts. So he does catch the ball in the backfield too, which makes him a pretty good threat. I'm sorry, but I expect him to hit double digits. I'm pulling for you though, bud. I'm pulling for you. As far as Amon-Ra, he's been kind of hit or miss this year. There's just too many. There's too many mouths to feed up there, and they decided they run the ball about 50% of the time, right? So, and especially with that backfield, that duo with Montgomery and Gibbs, it's a nice little 1-2 punch, and they're both running RB1s, right? They could be if they were on another team, and just like Gibbs has shown you the last 2 weeks, he's RB1, baby. So anyways, Chicago, he had 19 points, 40 against Buffalo, 10 against Green Bay, 12 against Chicago the previous time, 12. So he's the most, I think, wild card play here. He's going to get you double digits. You just don't know if it's 10 or if it's 40. And, you're hoping for the 40 if you need it, but you're hoping for the 10 if you're going against them, right? And then the same thing with James Williams. Double digits, you don't know if you're getting 10, you don't know if you're getting 30. I don't know. It seems like if Amon-Ra's doing good, Williams doesn't really do that good, but Williams spreads the field wide open. He's the guy that just catches the ball and tears his ass down the sideline. What we got here? Let's see. I'm heading out. See you later. Good luck. Good luck to you, Duncan. Cheers. Appreciate you being here. Thanks for coming in. Good luck to you. Goff over, Gibbs under, Amon-Ra over, J-Mo over, Tim under, Sam under. There we go. Got some bets right here. I am gonna sprinkle a little green out there tonight because I love betting on the Lions, and I'll bet for them to win. And I'm the absolute cooler. So like when I bet for them to win and they lose, I just tell Alan, said, "You're welcome. I'm sorry, but it's what it is." It's a revenge game. Last one was against the Cowboys. Gotcha. Yeah. So there you go. That's pretty much your stars for. Oh, and Tim, we didn't talk about Laporta, did we? All right, Laporta, he's been hit or miss. He doesn't really go above 20, so you're going to get somewhere between 10 and maybe 20 points. I'm looking more like 15. He'll probably get 15 points. Tim Patrick, we were talking earlier how he had a couple good games and then got goose egged. Watch him just blow up tonight, right? Just wait for it. I mean, he might get you nothing, but he's a free agent in most leagues anyways. He's rostered, I think, only 6% of leagues because he's wide receiver 3. He's target number 5 or 6 on this team, with it's just too many mouths to feed, right? But I expect Goff to go off. I do expect Gibbs. Amon-Ra, probably stay away from betting on that, even though Edits has him as on the over. So over 16.74 fantasy points. All right, let's take a look at the Niners here. Brock Purdy at home, got him slotted for 24.68 points. It went above that last week with 28 against Miami, 5 points against the Rams, 29 against Chicago, 3 against Buffalo. I hope you're not in the championship and you're like, I got this guy on my roster, I'm rolling him out there. Because, buddy, that's a high risk. It seems like every other week he does good. Well, guess what? He did good last week. I don't think he's going to go back-to-back. We'll see against a terrible defense, or not a terrible defense. I don't want to say that because they've actually, when they're fully stocked, healthy, stuff like that, they're actually solid, right? They're decent. But they're not. They are absolutely banged up, hurt, missing vital pieces. And then you got the second up on the actual ranking chart here for highest fantasy points is the tight end, George Kittle. Kittle will get you, 10 to 20 points. He's gone above 20 4 times this year, but, he's steady with the targets. You get you're going to get above 5, below 10 targets, depending on the yardage. The thing is, he needs to get in the end zone, right? Last week, he had 8 receptions for 160 yards for 18 points, which is nice. Get him the touchdown. Get him in the end zone, right? Then you have Juwan Jennings. Funny, Juwan Jennings now is above Deebo Samuel on the prediction chart here. 14.17 PPR points. He's been doing good. Last 2 weeks, not so great. He takes 2 weeks off, has a good week. 2 weeks off, has a good week. Here we go. Against Detroit, prime, he's going to be in the 20s, baby. Write it down. And Deebo has just kind of had a bad year. 25 points last week, but 4 the week before, 5, 4, 3, 6. I mean, he's had a rough year. He really has. And then Garindo's back, so he'll be handling, I think, RB1 and most of the carries. 16 carries last week. Oh, I'm sorry, he missed last week. It was against Miami. Week 15, 16 attempts. Week 14, 15 attempts. He does catch the balls out of the backfield, and they are actually short, nice little dump passes. So he's cut like 100% of his passes, except for like I think week 8, he dropped, or one was not caught. He went 3 for 4. So yeah, I mean these guys. I mean, watch out for Ricky Pearsall. Maybe it might be a Pearsall game, but I'm leaning more towards Jennings and Kittle. I hope Purdy scores some touchdowns for y'all. Get some action, but that's tough stuff. Tough sledding, to be honest. And like I said, I'm pulling for the Lions here. I'm pulling for, obviously, I want Goff to go bonkers. Now, the Lions are a 4-point favorite on the road. That line did move. It was 4.5 points before I hit live. It went down to 4. 4 points gets you a minus 105. Plus 4 for San Francisco gives you minus 115. Detroit minus 235 on the money line. San Francisco plus 195. The over-under set for 50.5, but that is a negative 105. And under 50.5 is minus 115. They obviously think it's going to be a high-scoring affair. I hope so. I need it. I want it. Got to have it. Hey, it's like 20 minutes or 25 minutes of game time. I hope everybody had a great fantasy season. I hope everybody gets that dub, gets that championship, gets that ring, the trophy, the money, get it all. I appreciate everybody who started following the show, been a part of the show. This is the first year we kind of like, you know what? Let's full speed ahead. We'll do just the fantasy portion on its own channel. This originated from Strikeout Beer, and you're like, you know what? Let's go on over. Let's create something that's a little spinoff, if you want to call it that. But get those dubs. Thank you so much for being here. Good luck, and we'll see you Wednesday. Adios.